Hello everyone. Today I'm going to introduce to you our chosen topic, the observer pattern. Our team includes me, Võ Công Minh, and my teammate Phan Huỳnh Anh Thư. So let's dive into this topic. So first of all, I want to give you an example relating to this topic to give you a first look, get familiar with this observer pattern. So for example, I'm really interested in a particular brand of milk which should become available in the store very soon. I could visit the store every day and check product availability, but while the product is still en route, most of the trips would be wasted or pointless. So on the other hand, the store could send a lot of emails to all customers each time a new product becomes available, but to some customer like me, this would be useful because I know that some product I want is available. But to other customers who are not interested in the new product, they would not consider that email is useful. So the solution to prevent this wasting resource is to only notify the chosen subject and eliminate those who are not interested. So in other words, if you want to hear the news about the milk product, you have to subscribe to the store, and the store will send you a notification when your favorite milk is available. So this is the essence of the observer pattern. The observer pattern defines a one-to-many dependence between objects, so that when one object changes state, all of its dependents are notified and updated automatically. So here is the definition of the two objects, the subject and the observer. As in the example, the subject is mean the store, the product of the store. So it is being observed by one or more observers. Like observer here is customer like me. The subject is the object that is being watched, and the observer is the object that is watching the subject. So in a clear sense, the subject means that store that want to send the notification, the information to the observer, the client. For example, me, who interested in its product. So whenever information is updated, the subject have to send the notification to the observer, and the observer need to register to the subject to get the information, and unregister or unsubscribe when it didn't get the information, to get the updated information. So that's the relationship between the observer and the subject. And then about the observer pattern. The observer pattern is a design pattern that defines a one-to-many relationship between objects, where a change in the state of one object in the subject results in notification being sent to more other objects, the observers. So now is the implementation. The implementation, which is the C++ code, to show you a clear view of the application of the observer pattern. So as mentioned before, about the milk shop example. So this code is to implement that example. So this is the code of mine. Coded myself, and before seeing all this, I will give you a general view of what am I doing. So this is the subject subject class. So in this code, there are two main classes, subject and observer. Subject represents for the object whose state is being observed, and observer represents the object that are notified when the state is updated. So for the subject, to implement it, we also have two parts, which is the subject interface and concrete subject. So for the subject interface, it is an abstract interface that defines the operation that must be concluded to solve the subject-observer relationship. It includes register, remove, and notify. Register is to allow the observer to subscribe to get the updated information. Remove is to let observer to unsubscribe, to stop receiving the information from the subject. And notify is to give the information that updated to the observer. So the subject interface, the first few lines of the image I show you is the subject interface, and the rest is the concrete subject. So for concrete subject, it provides a way for the observer to register. So it has the implementation for the interface. Interface is like the face of the subject, and concrete subject to us is like the root of the implementation for the subject. Next we go on the observer. So in the observer part, we also have two main class, which is the observer interface and concrete observer interface. So basically, the subject and the observer have the same implementation, nearly the same way of implementation. So the interface is for the look, for the defines the operation, and for concrete observer is the root of the observer, which is to specific implementation of the observer. So that's enough for the theory. Let's come to the code. So these red lines here are not mistakes, are not androids. So after I have mentioned the subject and observer before, so I don't talk up again about that. So in here, I declare a MuShop using MuShop data type. So here is a subject, and client here, client 1, client 2, client 3 is the client data type. Naming John, Mary, Tom. So first, when the clients want to subscribe into the subject, they use. So the MuShop will take the list of clients here, of the observers here, by register observer. So they register 3 clients, John, Mary, and Tom. And MuShop here is to update the information, to update the information of the Mu batch to all 3 clients. And if any clients want to unsubscribe to the MuShop, then the MuShop will remove the observer. So here we can see clearly to the code. So there's nothing new to explain about this one, only for the MuShop. So in here I use two data. One is for string current view patch, is to announce to my clients that the new patch is currently available in the shop. And vector observers here is the list of the clients who subscribe to our shop. And a little bit special things in here is that I use a vector of pointer class. So just one special thing here, and the rest is nothing new. So let's move on to the application of the observer pattern in real life. So there's a lot of example of the observer pattern, but I will take only the special one, the one is most used today, and that is MVC model. MVC stands for Model View Controller Architecture used in web development. The model is the subject and the views is the observer. So when the model changes, all the views are notified and updated automatically. Next, we come to advantages and disadvantages of the observer pattern. So there's 4 advantages for using observer pattern is separation of concern, extensibility, maintainability, and decoupling. So for separation of the concern, the pattern separates the concern of the subject and the observers. So the subject only responsible for maintaining its state, and the observer are responsible for reacting to changes in that state. Then 2. Extensibility. The observer pattern makes it easy to add new observer or remove the existing one without affecting the subject. This is a cool features of observer pattern. Then maintainability, because the observer pattern promotes loose coupling. It makes the code easier to maintain and to modify or add something new into the class. So finally, about decoupling, or in other words, loose coupling. The observer pattern promotes loose coupling between objects. The object does not need to know anything about its observer, and vice versa. The observer do not need to know anything about its subject. Then that's the disadvantages. So first is overhead. The observer pattern can introduce overhead, especially when there are many observers. And so each of them needs to be notified whether the subject state changes. Whenever the subject state changes, which can be expensive in computation. Then about the complexity. So the observed pattern can make the code more complex, especially if there are many observers, maybe 1 billion. So if the quantity around that, it can be difficult to transfer the information between the subject and the observer, and also difficult to debug if there are issues with the notification process. Then 3, timing issues. So if an observer needs to know the state of another observer before reacting, it may not receive the necessary information in time. Finally, about memory management. So sometimes if observers are not properly removed when they are no longer in it, so this can lead to memory glitch and other problems. So thank you for listening. This is the end of our presentation.